Welcome to my Minecraft world. I picked this game up like a little over a week ago because I'm late to every party by about 5 years. Anything something's wildly fantastic and popular, I will get to it in about 5 years. But um, I started out in normal mode and was immediately killed by a witch about 27 times. So I switched to peaceful and learned how to play this game, which was not the easiest thing for me in the first few, well, in-game days. But I have managed to figure out roughly what redstone does and building techniques, and this is all survival on peaceful, basically. This was all found in caves and wherever else in large areas of the map, and this is the house that I sort of came up with. Um, and my designs for doors and wiring have been very different from thing to thing as I figured out what was going on here. But basically, this was a natural cave opening before I got here, and the cave sort of opened up down into here, and there was another natural entrance around the side, which led into this sort of cavern area. And so this is the back of the house, which once led out in just up to the grass where we started. The spawn point literally is marked with some torches over there. Um, but yeah, I'm generally happy with it. If I had to start again, obviously I would have done a few things very differently, but I'm happy with it largely. And so this originally was the sort of cavern that I dug out and then was immediately killed by a witch again and again and again, just trying to get into my house. But yeah, learned how to not set everything on fire with lava the hard way, as most people probably do. Um, this is the back door that we just were at into this cave here, and I've put a button before the painting to get back in here. All the exterior doors are iron, and all the exterior doors have buttons on the outside. I was proud of myself at the time for putting the button on the second level. I did leave all of the redstone wiring areas essentially accessible as far as I could, and and yeah, I'll show the designs later. Worked on figuring out what maps were, and these are all zoomed out to the 4 out of 4 level. Made 2 copies of the same one so that I could take these traveling with me as I went around. And those are quite zoomed out. So I've actually explored a decent amount of the land, but first of all, it doesn't reflect exactly as much as I've shown because I created these very recently in the game time and haven't really been exploring with them for the most part. And then I've created the second level here. I haven't really done much with it, but it is complete. I'm in game like day 190 at this point. And for probably 180 of those days, this house had like giant gaping openings. I actually finally sealed it up and put it together, and sort of a guest bedroom in here with empty storage for if I had other people in this world. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but it makes sense to have it ready. You can see like this does have redstone. I did do it properly from the outside, but this is directly above my other door in the inside, and I could not figure out a way to put wiring in there. So it's faked from the inside, and generally if you walk toward it straight on, it will open. I've learned a lot more about redstone since building a lot of this, so I may revise some of it as time goes on, but I had never played this game before, but I had seen quite a few videos on YouTube of other people creating stuff, so I wasn't starting from complete creative scratch here. But this is essentially what I came up with. There's a little hallway here that leads to the farm out here, which is probably ready to harvest, and little farming chest here with more, like, I'm winding up with way too many seeds, saved up materials. I don't know what I'm going to do for an orchard, but I do want to do that at some point so that I don't have to keep going further and further for trees. I'm trying to take them sparsely. This literally is just dirt, almost 100%. I've got one block missing. And a quick crafting table just for changing melons into full melons and the hay bales into full hay bales, etc. There's the farm. I have lured an cow into this enclosure, and I need to go find another one so that I can make more cows. Cows seem to be generally pretty far from the spawn point, I've noticed, which is a little annoying, but like for making the item frames in here, I need cowhide, and that wasn't the easiest thing to come by. These were for show, kind of, because I really don't need armor at this point. I found a couple dogs, found a couple name tags, named the dogs, spent some levels. I didn't know that was going to happen, and have basically left them in there so that they don't get killed while wandering. I'll walk through sort of what I've come up with here. Put edibles in a chest, a ton of eggs. I don't know what. I'm gonna have a chicken room that's gonna be out of control. Earth is, I've generally made everything polished as long as I have, and sets of 4, so that I can just go right into using them as floors. I don't know if I'm ever going to use any gravel, but it's there. And some sandstone. I got a lot of sand for glass, and I built a pool, which I will show in a minute. Wood pieces, various varieties. I have not found a jungle yet, but hopefully soon. I don't know what I'm going to do with the other pieces when I've sort of been arranging them this way, which has worked out pretty well, but I find that as this game drags on, I run out of chests more and more. Tons of smooth stone, tons of cobblestone. I found a couple mob spawner rooms, which is, to be fair, completely cheating because it's in peaceful mode, but I got some moss stone and actually made a wall out of it, which was kind of nice. In organics, I put sort of non-farmish flowers, grasses that I accidentally cut while I was holding shears. Didn't know that would happen. Ferns, mushrooms, and valuables, which kind of sums up a lot of the rarer stuff that you can find. Redstone, so much coal, a lot of iron, lapis, gold, some extra leather, and a bunch of wool that I've been accumulating, and also clay. I only realized recently, I've been referring heavily to the wiki, only realized recently that I get terracotta if I put clay blocks in there, but I get brick if I put just clay in, and I've not actually done that yet. I don't know why I grabbed redstone. That was the wrong thing to do. Mostly use blocks of 9 because it just saves a ton of inventory space, and probably 4. And I'm able to store, like, this obviously would be an entire chest if this wasn't combined in blocks. Yeah, used a lot of the natural resources just to build this house, and it's taken about 190 days. So all things considered, I'm happy with how it turned out, but I now have more things to do. And this is the pool that I was talking about, built completely out of sandstone, lit by torches, which was kind of cool. I wish the water texture would render more nicely against the stairs. I realized it's a block by block situation, and these are just partially invisible. So I understand why that's happening, but it'd be nice if it just looked a little bit cleaner. And diving boards, because who likes a pool without diving boards? Um, yeah, fun stuff. The roof was an interesting one. Um, Took a bit of thinking and figuring out what worked and what didn't, but overall I think it looks all right, especially for having never built a structure of any sort before. Um, and the attic is accessible from a corridor actually on the first floor, right down this way. And this I need to fix. I actually just threw a video up on, I wanted to figure out how I could make these two doors, which are only separated by 2 blocks. I wanted to figure out how I could make 2 separate redstone mechanisms that would trigger these doors separately. I'm also coming up against this double door, which is properly redstone in there. And I did come up with a solution that I was decently happy with, and I have yet to actually implement it here. So these are just faked right now from both sides. And anyway, this corridor leads sort of down a hallway and up a series of 2 ladders. We're now on the 2nd floor level and now in the attic. And I don't know what, if anything, I'll do in this area, but certainly some space to mess around with, some nice views of the surrounding area, and I particularly like this view straight out here into the world. And these are just faked. There's actually this is a half slab, so no way I could work redstone into there, but I'm happy with it as it is. I'll just climb right down here and run back over here, and now I think we've covered almost everything. There's a little door here that leads under the main stairway, and I've got just junk that either I didn't mean to get, like leaves from shears, some stuff that I haven't yet figured out a bunch of uses for, but didn't really, I haven't thrown away, I've only thrown away extra dirt, because after I maxed an entire double chest full of dirt, I decided I did not need to do any more of that. So I built an infinite water thing with the 2 blocks of water, which create more source blocks, and an incinerator. I did not realize how hard it was to throw things over this wall, but it actually, it means I never accidentally die in it, so that's worth something. Over here, I just had this room where I dug all the way to bedrock, and didn't find a ton of stuff, but it was certainly a nice source of, well, especially rock, which I used for floors, diorite, andesite, and I dug as much as I could, and then realized this probably wasn't great as I let lava in, and promptly retreated. And I was trying to make this cave line up with another cave, and ended up just hitting bedrock straight away, and just kind of stripped it of all the resources I could find down there before heading back up. I did eventually connect this to the other cave, which I was thinking of, so I can access that cave from inside the house. But I'll show in a minute. There's many different ravines around here that were actually great. It was really nice to be able to have all of the resources readily available. So I did dig this to the area I was thinking of. And whoops, a little faster on the draw. I found a zombie spawner accidentally while I was gathering sand from the lake just outside, and it was close enough that I just used the map to dig into my base from the actual spawn room, so that if I ever want to create a harvesting machine or just use this as a experience, it's a zombie spawner there, and You can actually see it literally is one block below the lake there, which was an interesting spot. I just fell into it and decided it was easy enough to just dig back to home base here. So that's what I did. And I don't know what I'll do with this room, but I have cleanly walled it off and labeled it there. Now this is the other room I was talking about with all the door wiring. You can see that I haven't really kept it too clean, but I did change everything to smooth stone for the purposes of visual. This is the door we just went through to the room with the bedrock, and I don't know, it's kind of cool just to have it accessible. Over here we're now right below the front door, so this is the absolute catastrophe of the front door wiring. This is the left side door, and which goes around here. This goes to the right side door. That goes to this piece of diorite. Has the pressure plate that actually does something. The other pressure plate I think is a complete dummy. And then up here I actually sort of put a secret chest in here with the rare items that I come across, and maybe a stand for a set of diamond armor later. But this is the button which is on the second height level for the front doors. So it's just dug straight up here, which means that I can access it from the second block rather than at the floor level, which most doors are powered by. This one here is the double door for the map room. And again, a little strange, but there's on one side and then here's on the other side. And that right there are the two pressure plates on the outside, and there's actually a set of stairs there which are right above us. So these will be the pressure plates for the lower one. And then heading down this way, these are the set of double doors for the back of the sort of the master bedroom downstairs to go out into the cave network. That will be one side door, that will be the other side door, and then through here under these two will be the two pressure plates on the inside, and then up this way is the path to the little button that's hidden in the picture. And if we continue through here, we'll head up this way. These I marked with diorite because there's actually a lava shaft falling right in between these, and I did not want to accidentally mistake those for different blocks, so I put diorite on all the edges that are bound in lava so I don't screw that up. This is for the room with the dogs, and that would be one side door, and over here will be the other side door, and this goes up to the button, which is again on the second level on the tree on the inside of the room with the dogs, and the button for the one on the outside I believe is just there, so it triggers this piece of redstone. Right about here there's that door which I've just dummied because this is the door which goes to the farming cupboard, which has those are the ones for the pressure plates on the inside, pressure plates on the outside are there, one door and the other door. And then this way is for the room where we have the doors that actually go out into the farm. And so another thing is I could not figure out a way to not break ground on the other side, so I connected this block for one of the doors, and that runs through here, and on the other side it is just activated. It just hits the buttons, and the pressure plates are directly under here, but it doesn't actually trigger the other door. The other door is simply triggered by being in close proximity to the button and one of the pressure plates. So I'll show you that in a second because it's not perfect, and again, I'm not thrilled with it, but it does work generally for what I need it to. And I did build a second exit here, which has a pressure plate right there with an iron door, and there's no other trigger to open this iron door, so it's effectively locked from this side unless I were to go all the way back up into the closet under the main staircase, which is how we entered it in the first place. But here's what I mean about the doors, which are half triggered. If I were to hit this side, I get the full effect. If I were to hit just this side, it only hits this door because this door is not actually plugged into anything. It's only in proximity to this and proximity to that, but they both triggered the door that's in adjacent, and they trigger the redstone, which triggers the other door. So it's effective for mostly what I need it to, but technically that's not ideal, having this pressure plate as a dummy. I'll see what I can do with that in future episodes with more knowledge of redstone, and I didn't use any torches or repeaters for any of these doors. I was just messing with it from a first perspective, and this is just a room for the stairs that are in the swimming pool. Didn't really need a room, but it was right there, so I figured why not connect it. And that sums up the house that I built, and more will be to come, but I'm overall generally happy with the way it turned out, and all things considered, I had no knowledge of anything before doing this, having never held a control in my hand for this game. I'm pleased with it, but I will cut this now, and in future videos actually work on it and explore the world. I'll see you then.